Howdy folks, how we doing? So this vid was all going to be about how to repair or diagnose the fault on the air rams under the cab on the Fastrac. So they're the rams that control forward and reverse and high, low, medium. Obviously remember a few videos ago now, it was getting far more temperamental going forward and reverse. A couple of times I pulled up to something in front and then it wouldn't select reverse, so I was like, got to do something about it. However, I deleted the first half of fixing the rams. I deleted it before I'd actually moved it onto the computer. What a knob. That's me. So I'm just going to do a little intro now about sort of taking it out, a few do's and don'ts, and then we'll carry on from where I didn't delete the footage, which is like putting it back together. There's your air rams there, two of them. They're double-ended rams, so you've got a ram either end basically. So there's 4 rams. Now when you take them off, which is not too bad, you want to take the cab out, the floor out of the cab, which is not too bad. Whip the rubber out, take the big plate out in the middle, which is an awkward bugger. I forgot how awkward that is, like. But once you've done that, you get a bit better access, better than you can from here. I mean, you can get to, like, you can do the back pins from here, but it is easier to do the rest of it from in cab. Important things to note: make sure you label your pipes accurately and where they go onto the rams. So coloured cable ties is what I used, because you don't want to get that wrong. And also you want to make sure the ram goes back the way you took it off. Again, otherwise you'll mess it up. So make sure you know which way you took it off, so it goes on the same way again. And your pipes, make sure you know where they go. Otherwise you're going to be in a world of pain. So, yeah, so once you get all that out, then basically, tell you what we can do. If I get down, I can sort of show you, because I've got some new ones in the front box still. Right, let's try not to die falling off here. Oh, I nearly did. So basically, here we go here in this little bag. Here you go. So that is the dodgy switch. Now I haven't got a multimeter in here. Something I probably should have in here, actually, to be fair, but I haven't got a multimeter in here. But what it was doing is it was, as it goes into the switch here, these wires were just, obviously there's a break there. So as you were testing it, and what you're looking for is continuity when the ram's in. So basically it's looking for the ram to be either fully in or fully out, depending on which switch this is. So there's one on the fully out stroke, one on the fully in stroke. This was on the fully in, if I remember correctly. And you're looking for continuity. So once it's fully in, this switch should be reading, it should be bridging basically. But what it was doing is you would jiggle the, it's a shame I can't be bothered to go and get one, but you jiggle the wires there and it would go beep, 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 like that. So it was, you know, that was what was giving the issue. So, new one of them on, so yeah, new switch on. These can break, actually, that's another thing to look for. They can break, and obviously they can then move about on the ram, that's another thing to look for. The switches themselves can foul, or like I had, the wires in the back can break up a bit. So that was what that is. So you just want to pull it out. I put it in the vise, and then just check the continuity on each switch basically. So like you say, if it's fully in or fully out, you're looking for continuity on wherever it should be. So it's quite simple. And yeah, so we found that was the culprit, and I think now we cut to, let me think, because I was editing the video last night. We now cut to fitting the new one. All right, so we need to unpick the pins that are no good, which is that one, the one we've took off. So these are actually quite a simple thing. You just I've got a little clip in there in the pin. You just push it down, and then you want the different screwdriver. You want that one, the little screwdriver. Just push the pin back a little bit. Same with its. Mind you, it's not that one, is it? Is it that one? No, yeah. Wrong ones, George. Should have been paying attention. It's the third one we want. Push them down. So that comes off like that. Simple as that. And we're just going to repin this new one. Hopefully that should do it. Yeah, so blue up the top. There you go, that's repinned. So we'll put the lock back in like so. So put that over there, then you run the Jubilee through. That's not as easy as it seemed, is it? Let's run the Jubilee through first. Oh yeah, so that's not quite as easy as I was imagining. So we'll put it in its detent in the correct spot. Oh, that's easier. So there we go, so that's right there. Get that lined up about there. Put the Jubilee back together, and then we can do a retest. See if we get good continuity. So we'll get that roughly where the old one was. It was about there, I think. Nip that up. So about there. We now want the multimeter again. Right, hopefully we'll now get a nice steady tone at the plug. Which are the new ones? That one there. Aha, that's better. Pull out, yeah. Back in. Oh, lovely when a plan comes together. So that's spot on. Nice steady tone. Wiggle it. That's good. So that should be good. So we'll just nip that fully up now. Like so. That's nice and tight. All the others are. Right, so that is that one tested. That should be fine now. I might just retest all the positions just to make sure we're good. We've got continuity in all 4 positions. Next job is we'll have the lower ram off, and we'll just check that while we're in this position. And then hopefully the job will be good. All right, well, both rams back in position. Hopefully all fully functioning now. At least I did find that one, it's when you have them apart and then you can't find what's wrong. Well, at least that one switch did seem to be faulty. So next thing is now we'll fire her up, build some air up, and shuttle backwards and forwards a few times. We'll soon know whether she's playing ball or not. And before we put the floor back in, we'll give it a bit of a blow off. See, we've got a new pipe there. Well, Darren turned up. He's been here to put some pipes on the slow tanker. Well, when we had the floor up, I don't know whether I showed it on the video or not, but anyway, that pipe, the old pipe that was there, was wet. So it's good timing that he was here, really. So not the floor was off. So there's a new pipe in there, and you can see it looks just a bit damp there around the transmission, doesn't it? So so that's another possible issue sorted. But anyway, let's get some air going. We can test it out, and then get the floor back together. Noisy in here with no floor. So So we'll leave the engine running and we'll do some cycles. Yep. Neutral. Reverse. Neutral. High. Neutral. Reverse. Neutral. High. Medium. Low. Spot on. That's high. Medium. Low. Medium. High. Neutral. Reverse. Well, there's no air leaks either, so there we go. Right, get this pesky floor. The floor's not too bad, apart from the big square plate that goes like under the seat a bit. That was a pain to get out. I forgot. It's been a long time since I've had the floor up on one of these, but I forgot how much of a pain that was. But yeah, no, we'll get the blower first, I think. And actually, well, we could use. I was going to get my Makita blower, but actually, we've got the air on the side there. We might just use that, just to blow it off that transmission tunnel. There's a bit of dirt there. It's not too bad, but we've got the floor off. We might as well give it a blow, haven't we? Amazing how heavy this bugger is. Just a bit of rubber. But it does at least obviously give you good sound deadening. Right, just got the tricky bit now of folding that under the pedals, which sounds easy, but there's actually not. I might have cocked up and I might have to slide the end in first. Yeah, it's going to be a two-handed job. I need it. Okay, I sound like I'm in a porn video. Oh yeah. Yeah, that does look quite tidy in there now. Yeah, it's well worth giving it a bit of a birthday. Just want the trim, which does want a little bit of a clean, but I can do that in situ, like that. Job is good. Then we've got to go and, I think got to go and do, then we've got a bit of greasing to do. I'll show you where some of the interesting grease nibbles are on this thing. Right, so the important thing to remember these old Fastracs is all your UJs there for your PTO and your drive shafts, they got nipples on them. Quite often get overlooked because they're awkward to do. You've got to get them in exactly the right spot to be able to get on the nipples. We're going to do that PTO one, which is the top one just in there. See if we can do that from the top. We've got all the suspension shock absorbers, top and bottom, anti-roll bar at the back here, back of the drawbar pivot right down there has got one either side, all on the back obviously. There's some as well on the steering column that need doing. So yeah, it's a bit of a faff doing them, but it's well worth it. And of course these ones down here on the, where's the thing gone? Oh bloody hell. Yeah, these drive shafts down here, well of course they're not on the end of the end caps, they're inside. And you can see actually on the drive shaft one there at the bottom, just at the top of above, yeah, top of the screen there if you will, there's one, they're inside, they're on the actual spider. So yeah, even more tricky, like I say, you've got to get them in the right spot. Can't see the one at the, see there's the, can you see it? If I put you right down in there, there you go, there's the PTO one, which is obscured basically by the V-bar. So I can't see the actual nipple on that one at the minute, but we can turn that obviously because it's the PTO. So But let's get that back drive shaft one done, as soon as we can see it. There you go. Lovely sight that is. So we've got two on the PTO there. Can you see them? One in the Spider, one just there. Got the old G coupler or lock and lube or whatever they're called. They are quite handy. Clip it on and you know you've got it. That'll do in that. Get that one in. Where is it? There you go, that's the one on the Spider. That's come through. Oh, tell you what, see the front of the half the drive shaft, I might be able to get that from here. I might have to put you down a minute, but going to be some more grunting, I think. Gonna need me left out. Oh yeah, smacked you around the back of the head. Oh no, that's the back of the nipple. So that's pointing down. So that's everything we can get there in here from the top then. Now it's time to go underneath. Anyway, yeah, that's all done. So props, back end, kingpins. Yeah, worst things, well, I've shut the bonnet now, but is the steering column. There's two on the joints there. Very, very tight to get to. The lower one you have to kind of go up from underneath, and that one there is again a right base. Just not quite enough clearance just to get on it, but yeah, faff. Anyway, all done. Find out how she goes, or the shuttle goes tomorrow, and we get Slurry in again. Hopefully, fingers crossed, she's all good. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that little vid. Hopefully, it's you know, informational for some of you, especially some of you that are having problems with your shuttle and your high-low and everything. Hopefully, it helps you out a little spot. Yeah. Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Ta-ta.